Okay, so question number 1. How have you been? Fairly tired, honestly. It's been quite busy with the work that I've been doing at the new studio and things, as well as moving to Poland, moving into the new flat, organising furniture and all that good stuff. As well, if my audio starts to get weird, please let me know. So, with the new modding support from Saber, are there any breakthroughs we'll be able to do in terms of changing or adding content to Space Marine 2? So obviously the character modeling tools have come out. There are some future changes to be expected. One of the biggest ones that's going to be possible outside of just editing the character models is some basic animation functionality for the weapons. So that means we'll be able to start getting kind of reloads working a bit better and whatever you call it, the bolts. Oh no, I'm revealing that I'm British and don't know much about guns. The kind of the cycling mechanisms and stuff on the bolters, so they can be ejecting the shells nicely. How is it likely for the current modding tools to transfer to Space Marine 3? Fairly likely. I mean, I'm sure the kind of the underlying file formats and stuff will probably be the same. And I think after they've seen the success of modding with Space Marine 2, they'll probably be eager to kind of keep that train going with Space Marine 3. How long before the release of the new overhaul? Once the next update's out and I've got the character models in a place where we're happy with them and there aren't too many bugs and things, is the honest answer. So I don't know. Should be a matter of kind of a week or two at the most. When will Vulcan come back? I don't know. He might already be back. Let's see. Can we get a tutorial request channel to request tutorials on stuff? Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. One thing to highlight is I've been putting together a website, which I could do with help from various people who know what they're doing and talking about, which is currently warhammerworkshop.com. And it's basically going to be a modding wiki where because Discord's fun, but it's not great for kind of hosting. How do I turn on dark mode? I'm being blinded. But yeah, just a repository where we can host kind of modding information and kind of things that are known and workflows and all that good stuff. So you should be able to access it. You can then, register, log in, create accounts, etc. And anyone who knows anything is welcome to go and start adding information on whatever they know. And yeah, that should hopefully be quite useful to the modding community. Back to the list of questions. Can the next update adjust AI teammates' damage to enemies to match the player? Well, so basic Astartes overhaul already does increase the enemy damage. I'm not sure it's quite to the level of matching the players, but that would make them very overpowered because they're very, accurate and things. But I'm sure we could do a sub-mod that kind of enables that easily enough. As playing with mods is private only already, is there any opportunity of peer-to-peer co-op with stable progression, modded at least? I'm not quite sure I understand that question of P2P co-op, because that's already done. So yeah, we'll have to move on to the next one. Maybe whoever asked it can give us some qualifications. What's the approach for commissions and mods and models on the server going forward? So there have been some issues where people have kind of paid money for commissions and things. It's been a bit slow, or there's not been communication, and how do people know who to trust and things. We're going to look at implementing some sort of kind of commission review system and having kind of different roles. If you want to, become a commissioner, like kind of trusted, novice, zero, whatever you call it, experience and things. That should, that help try and give people a little bit more security in what they, who they're paying for what, etc. But yeah, bear with us. That's a kind of difficult one to manage. Will we get a trailer for the new Astartes overhaul? I mean, I'd love it if someone wants to take the time to make one. I know we've got some awesome YouTubers and stuff who are churning out videos every other day, kind of on Astartes and things, and I think that's already some good kind of publicity. But yeah, it would be nice to do one kind of really going in depth and highlighting all the features and kind of where the mod's at now compared to where it was when it came out and things. Right, on to champion packs. Is it possible to get armor parts from champion packs to choose from? So the answer to that one is yes, we can get champion pack kind of bits and bobs and added in. The main thing to highlight is anything that we do when it comes to unlocking champion packs, we have to make sure that you own the DLC to be able to kind of equip it. So, and if you take off, like, let's say the winged helmet bits off the do you call it? The Bulwark Champion, you need to make sure that that tag of has to own Dark Angels Season Pack DLC is applied to whatever helmets you slap it on. Because it's only fair to Saber, they've spent, the time and the resources developing it. We've got to make sure that only people who have paid for it are able to use it. Next, will you ever add broken weapons for the hell of it, like broken chainswords and axes, etc.? Yeah, there's nothing stopping us adding it. It's just a case of finding the time to do it. We've got some amazing kind of modelers and things in the server, so if people feel like that's something they want to investigate, I could see there being a fun, like, a bit like in Shadow Mordor, a shattered power sword as a combat knife skin would be quite fun. Is it possible to create new weapon profiles? So the short answer is yes. The longer answer is, but it's very complicated. It involves editing the kind of SSL bin files and things. So it's easier to kind of take debug weapons and cut weapons and things and edit those to make them playable. You can kind of then swap out the models and skins wherever you want. How easy will it be to make the changes and modify the new armor in Astartes? So I'm trying to build it in a way where I'm creating the character parts in as many kind of separate pieces as possible. So any new goggles, helmet attachments and things I've split up specifically so that kit bashers can take them and kind of mix and match them with different things. So that should hopefully be quite nice. Likewise, I've taken existing bits of armor and chopped them up. So an easy example is the tactical kind of the gold helmet with the plume. In the original version, those were kind of one piece, which made it very hard to kit bash the horizontal plume onto anything else. Splitting it up has helped, you can then chuck it on anything, basically. And I've adjusted the proportions a bit so it fits nicely on all the helmets. Could I make a tutorial on how I added the Iron Halo onto the Blade Guard? So the way I added the Iron Halo onto the Blade Guard is very hacky. That system was basically going on start game or on load into map, add mesh to character. That's not really needed anymore, because now you're going to be able to kind of customize them and pick different ones all in the armory window. But yeah, I'll probably work on a tutorial on how to do specific kind of armor mods and things. Although I think Neokesh has already written up some fairly good ones, and yeah, hopefully it can be something that we do as a little bit of a kind of community push in documenting this sort of thing. Would it be a big job to turn the heavy bolt into a rotor cannon? So the only reason I hadn't built a kind of autocannon, rotor cannon, etc., was that we didn't have animation support, and it's not very good having a big minigun kind of thing if the barrel doesn't spin. But once we get the new tools from Kesha in the next kind of week or two, then yes, expect to see autocannons coming down the line. Are there any plans for Librarian or Terminator class? Grumpy is very kindly working on a high poly, low poly UV'd model, etc. And I'm going to be spending some time kind of bashing the proportions when, like, it's already 99% of the way there, so I'll be handling the final little bits just to get it kind of playing nicely with the Astartes proportions and things. But yes, we have plans to get a Terminator in. Librarian's a bit tricky. A bit trickier just because they've got kind of new abilities and they'll require kind of a bit more thinking into how we're going to go about building it. But yes, like ideally we'd at least like to get the Librarian armor in. Sorry, next question. Are there any plans to add some Grey Knight related stuff? Yeah. Just like any other bits, Grey Knights are kind of coming down the pipeline. Just bear with us because we don't have that many talented modders and things, or modelers, I should say. And we can, we're just limited in how many pieces we can make at once. Are custom voice lines or audio possible? They are possible. It's just a case of finding talented people to do the recordings and stuff. It's a little bit harder to set up the kind of the events. So I'd say it's easier to replace existing audio than it is to add entirely new audio. But luckily, there's lots of kind of I don't know, campaign voice lines we could swap out if we wanted to create, new audio for like the apothecary or something. Are there any plans to make changes to the Space Wolf Champion and giving a different helmet? So I'm looking at doing a swap, or at least having an option for the Space Wolf Champion where he'll have Akran's head, because I think Akran looks suitably Space Wolfy. Maybe we could give him a kind of ginger mohawk or something. But yeah, that's all very possible with kind of tools coming down the line. Is there any possibility of creating or adding AI to multiplayer modes? The answer to that, I guess, is yes. I don't see why not. Yeah, we could tweak that. I know that Saber are looking at making the kind of PvP mode accessible to the modders and having your kind of custom PvP servers. So yeah, that would be lots of fun, either having Tyranids or kind of bots on both sides. Is there a chance cosmetic mods will be made separate again? I'm imagining that we mean just having the armor options separate to Astartes. The answer to that is yes. With the new mod pack system, it's going to be much easier to kind of separate the mods out into their various components. So yeah, you're not going to need to have everything all at once. Is it possible to have both arms and legs be bionic? Yes. It's just a case of modeling it and rigging it, but that's, yeah, probably going to come down the line. Just again, like with any modeling thing, a case of finding the time to do it. What do you recommend for someone new to modding to start and improve their skills? I'd start off very simple. If you're kind of wanting to do 3D modeling and stuff, start off with a melee weapon. If you're wanting to do kind of gameplay tweaks, try editing the gun, make a variant of it with more ammo or less ammo and kind of just find something fun to do, basically. But yeah, start simple, do it well, and then slowly increase in complexity. In the mod version, will prestige perks still require the player to level up again if they want to reset them? So that's something I'm going to talk to with Saber about, where they said please don't affect the rate at which people progress. But some things where, yeah, if just installing a different mod or uninstalling the mod and playing without it completely resets your mod progress every time, then I think that we can probably get some flexibility, or just talk to Saber about getting a kind of modded save slot that then is easy for players to delete if something breaks. So we've covered, yeah, we will be chopping up the champions for individual parts, just making sure that the DLC tags are still enabled. If Saber allows it, would it be possible to make some sort of pseudo DRM? I mean, that's already in, so yeah, that's the plan. How did I get models like the new robot leg and new weapon skins? So for the new weapons, the answer is I've made most of them. Grumpy made the Stormbolter, which was very appreciated. But yeah, I think almost all of the melee weapon additions in the mod were made by myself. As far as the Bionic leg, I basically just took the Redemptor Dreadnought and chopped him up and kind of stretched him and made various changes to get it to fit the character nicely. Is Firstborn armor coming? Firstborn armor's already in, at least for supporters, so I'm just working on making it colorable. Neophyte armor's a little bit trickier. I'll probably have a look at chopping up the Cadians and using them as a basis for it, but we will see. And the last things I see as far as recording goes, yes, I think Violet's recording it at the moment. Right then, so let's have a little quick look at the last bits. Will I make a tutorial on how to add custom armor or custom character models, like using the Space Marine 1 Titus model on the Space Marine 2 skeleton? Yeah, I'll look at putting together some modeling tutorials. And are custom maps possible? Not at the moment. Possibly in the future with tools from Saber, but that'll be a difficult kind of long-term one, I think. But with that, let me start sharing screen again, and we'll open it up to any questions from anyone who wants to ask anything or go into more detail about stuff. So yeah, I'll open up the floor. Don't be shy, I don't bite.
Should we ask over voice or?
Yeah, a voice is fine. Yeah.
So with the new modding support, we're getting limited animation support for, you said, weapon systems?
Yes. So there are kind of two kinds of animations. You've got essentially animations that require a network, or a network, kind of a graph of animations like player animations, so running around where you do a melee attack that then morphs into kind of running and rolling and all that stuff. So basically stuff that requires kind of full skeletons. And then you have, I guess, rigid body animation, which is stuff like just the shell ejection thing on a bolter, just cycling back and forward. So we can do stuff, or we will be able to do things like bolters. I don't think we'll ever be able to do stuff like character animation, because it relies on a bunch of third-party tools and things, and is just very, very complex to get up and running. So hopefully the vaguely short answer to that question.
Do you think we'll ever get a playable Dreadnought?
Yes, I'm fairly confident we'll be seeing some form of playable dreadnoughts in the near future.
As far as making the Scout Marines, how easy do you think that would be, or like how far of like a possible date would that be?
Hard to give specific numbers. It depends on a lot of things. I think it's definitely possible. It's just finding the time and the priority of doing them over all the other cool things you want to do. Like we'll probably see Grey Knights before we see Scouts, for example. Is the honest answer.
Thank you. And would they be would that armor set be available on every class or what?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Is there any talk from Saber about adding a mod page like Fallout in Space Marine 3? Possibly. We'll see. So we'll do a quick run and I'll screen share where the kind of armor customization's at currently, and then I'll update you guys on what the plans are going forward for future bits. Jamil has a question. Will a tutorial also be made on how to add a character skin slot on Titus' character in the campaign like the DLC? Yeah, we could put a tutorial up. I think that would be a good one for the Wikipedia. Or not the Wikipedia, I mean the modding wiki. warhammerworkshop.com for those who've missed it. So yeah, I'll be trying to find the time when I can start adding some pages and updating things. But yeah, anyone who has any experience with modding the game, it would be very appreciated if you could help me contribute to this. So it's a lot for one person to do.
Whaley, I got one more question.
Yeah.
There's a servitor model that follows you in, I believe, the newest Chaos mission. Is there a way to add that as a customization option, just to have a servitor follow you as like your tertiary slot?
It could potentially be added as a perk. I'd have to have a look. Embarrassingly, I've not actually played the latest operation missions because I've been too busy like modding the game and things. Does it have any combat? Does it react to anything?
No, it just follows you through a short section of the mission. Just floats around behind you.
Oh, do you mean like the servo skull?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I could probably get one that follows you. Adding a third companion in the campaign? Yeah, that should be possible. Right, let's try loading up the thing. Hopefully it won't crash. I'm going to make one quick change as well, which will be to this. Bear with me for a second while I go down to...
Now, as far as and I wasn't here probably when the Q&A started because I was in my therapy session. But how soon? Not how soon. How possible would it be to get like a visually accurate inceptor into the mod with, like, let's say for example, like not only armor but like as far as weapons, like of course we have the assault bolter as a sidearm already, so that's fine. And then like you have like an extra assault bolter in your other hand, kind of is just like a dummy gun kind of, and then you just use like the bare hand fighting style. You know what I mean?
So again, with these ones, the honest answer is it depends. Like it's obviously very doable. It's just a case of finding the time to do it over all the other bits.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'd quite like to see, because right now we do a weird thing with the Assault Marine where we kind of have the perk that lets you pick the different jetpack types, but then if you're not leveled the character, you then don't have jet. So it'd probably be nice to split that character up into two parts, one where it's Assault Marine with the melee weapons, then one where it's more of an Inceptor with some kind of guns that you can hover around, but are less powerful in melee combat and things. But yeah, that'd be cool to see. Right, let me just get these bits removed, and then I think we'll be good. Or it'll just crash, but fingers crossed, this is how modding works, and I'm showing it off to people, so it'll probably crash. Okay. Yeah, at some point down the line, I'll probably release the GLTF. The Helldiver's camera will be quite difficult because it'll require dealing with a lot of kind of unknown systems at the moment. Like not impossible, but tricky. I'd quite like to see a top-down camera, like an RTS. That'd be quite fun. Twin stick style. Yeah, I was thinking it'd be quite fun to take the Space Marine 1 armors and heads and kind of up-res them. Oh no, we're getting a crash. Shit. What is causing that? I bet it's these bits. 1 second, chaps.
Yeah, seeing an updated Sedonis would look cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, other people, feel free to jump in voice. It doesn't have to be text questions. I see one question from Ghostman saying, is there an update to future combi weapons being added to the game? Again, yes, like it's possible, it's doable. We're just waiting on the weapon animation tools from Kesha before jumping onto those, which shouldn't be long. I think there's a lot of detail. These are just the low poly models, which again, normal maps and stuff help. But yeah, I'd say they've actually got more detail than I'd kind of expected as far as kind of cracks and scrapes and things go.
I just wanted to ask, the animation tools will only involve guns, or it will also could involve melee weapons?
Yeah, melee weapons would work as well, I think. Need to check, like maybe not the chainsword, but I think so.
Nice.
Alright, let's see if I can get this working. Sorry about this, everyone.
So I don't know if this is a thing yet, but with the different classes, like the apothecary, not the I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but
Chaplain, apothecary, and
Yeah.
chapter master. Yeah.
will they have like individual customizations like the base?
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay.
So with that, so the way we set up custom classes was basically hijacking Titus and Co from the campaign and like injecting them into the operations modes, which is why they're not as customizable as everyone else. We've spoken to Saber, who said they're very kindly looking at adding some kind of extra, we call them enums, which basically enumerators, which is kind of like names of the different classes and things in kind of code. And so they're looking at adding some kind of basically just mod 1, mod 2, mod 3, etc. Class names. So then we're able to go, cool, whole new PvE class specifically for modders and things, which we can then edit, which will then allow us to, basically blank slates, like Jamil says, that'll allow us to create whatever we want with them, rather than kind of semi-hijacking Titus and all the kind of baggage that comes with him. Because there's stuff in the code that says, okay, you can't edit the colors on Titus and things.
Thanks.
To Violet's question, probably not, because again, when Saber release their update, we'll be able to create entirely custom classes without needing to do that. Actually, am I being stupid? Yes, I am. Okay, second time lucky.
I actually had another question. Do you plan on having like what are your thoughts about having like events, I guess you could say, happen within the mod whenever like PvP pops off for modded servers and stuff like that?
Yeah, that would be cool. Like, I'd personally love to make prop hunt in Space Marine. You know, give one team flamethrowers every time you set fire to someone. They join the team, they spawn with a flamethrower. That'd be really fun. I think would be possible with the kind of tools and the scripting that's available. But until we can kind of get access to the kind of PvP side of things, it's obviously difficult to do. But yeah, setting up some kind of community events and things would be really fun.
Sorry, this question is a little more meta.
Yeah.
Do you think that that Saber is taking notes of what the modding community is doing to take maybe ideas for Space Marine 3?
Oh, sorry, chaps. I'm still getting crashes. So it's hard to answer because it honestly, yeah, it depends on a lot of things. All I can say is that from my perspective, if I was in Saber's shoes, I'd probably be taking a look at what the community were doing. Just because if modders release something and it's very popular, like let's say the kind of expanded weapons, power sword on assault and stuff, and it's one of the most downloaded mods on the Nexus, then it makes sense to go, okay, clearly this is popular, it's what people want. Do we really want to be preventing people from doing it on our end? If not, then great, let's oh, that's not one I was meaning to show. Some old bits. But yeah, again, difficult to go into like specifics, but I think, yeah, I'd be surprised if they weren't having a look here and there. Yeah, I'll ask Saber on the getting some blank slates in, because I agree that'd be good. Right, this was working earlier, so let's see if it's going to behave itself. Any other
What-
questions from anyone? You're gone.
What are your thoughts on making Primarch models available for like an event or something like that?
Yeah, those would be cool. I mean, I probably wouldn't do them for an event. Like, if someone goes to the trouble of making them, then probably want to have them available, properly. But I think that there could be a fun kind of juggernaut mode or something where one of the players is a Primarch and everyone else is trying to kill them. Some kind of more Horus Heresy themed PvP stuff could be fun. But again, these are all things that take time and resources, and having to choose one. Because obviously lots and lots of different ideas, lots of different things that are possible. But it's just finding the time to do it outside of my job and work and family and kind of other commitments and things. It's always interesting.
Thank you.
No worries. Right. Hopefully it'll actually fucking run. That's a bit embarrassing. Otherwise, I'll just load an old version of the mod that I can then show people. Because at the end of the day, we can wait for the Bionic Leg. Go on, Seeing Red. You had loads of questions earlier. I'm sure there's something you can ask.
I already asked him. You want me to ask him again so you can say it to everybody?
Nah, it's all good. Yeah. Well, if there are any particular ones you think of off the top of your head.
I mean, more personally, what do you think the raw time commitment you've invested in this community is thus far?
Oh God. I had a Steam thing the other day, which was see if I can find it. Give me 1 second to log into Steam with my phone. And I will show you. I've got one concrete example. It makes me very sad. Okay. So, I've got my Steam Replay 2024. And bear in mind, this only covers incidents of me launching Space Marine 2, not all of the time doing, as you can see here, kind of sitting in files and modeling and texturing, etc. So, 2024, played 46 games, 75% of my playtime was in Space Marine 2, 4,355 sessions played. Now, if we just do the maths and we say it takes roughly 2 minutes to hit play, load up the game, go into the main menu, hit enter there, load into the game. So 4,355 times 2 minutes. Let's divide that by 60 to get some hours. 145 hours. And let's say realistically there are 8 working hours in a day. So that's 18 straight days of like 9 to 5 working on Space Marine 2 mods. Which, bear in mind that Space Marine 2 came out in, what, October? So, yeah, 4 months. That's a lot of time to spend. And again, bear in mind as well, this 18 days, this is just loading in and out of the game. That's not even taking into account like playing through levels and testing things and making things. This is just 18 days of watching fucking loading screens. So yeah, I've spent a little bit more time than I'd like in this menu here.
And we love you for it.
Yeah. And so it's why, you know, like I used to do everything for completely free, but at a certain point I had to put together something like a Ko-fi to help just justify the amount of time I spend working on this. Because when I'm doing this, I'm, you know, ignoring my girlfriend, family, other commitments, you know. So, yeah. And it's still crashing, so let's get an old version of mod up and running.
Merch shop when?
What, sorry? Oh, merch shop. Well, we'll see.
Merch shop
maybe do a
when?
mug or something for someone. Yeah.
We gonna need that cup, bruh.
I'm gonna need
Yep.
that coffee cup.
Damn right. Okay, let's see. Just because I know a bunch of people haven't had the chance yet. Okay. Sorry about this, everyone. Should be the last time we load it. Only mildly frustrating having the game constantly crash, but hey ho. Right. So I guess there's one other plan I want to talk you through once we get in, which is how we're handling cosmetics and things, because I want to avoid there just being endless tabs of kind of thousands of helmets. Which the tricky thing is when you take into account again, as some basic maths, if we have, let's say, 6 basic helmets, you've got a standard Mark 10, the Mark 6, the Mark 8, the Mark 3, and then the couple of variations. We've got the cracked lenses and the weird ear panel things. And that's not even getting into the Vanguard helmets and the sniper ones. You then have, let's say you have a version with Crest 1, Crest 2, one of the hoods, the laurel wreaths. That's then all of those helmets times 4, or maybe 5, let's say, if we throw in a couple of things. And then if you're, this crash might be deeper than I thought it was. So we're still getting it. We quickly start ending up with a kind of 100 plus helmets and things all kind of merging together and having thousands and thousands of varieties, which isn't very fun because at a certain point you start suffering from what we call choice paralysis. So my thought is, at a certain point, the vanity customizations, there aren't that many of them. It tends to be, for snipers, it's cloaks. For the raider, it's the little backpack attachments. For the heavy, it's the iron halos, etc. So why don't we move the vanity items as a backpack cosmetic? At least, for the tactical marine, we'd have them as a kind of chest piece and create a few more variations of that. And then we can open up the vanity slot to be used for adding things like hoods and crests and skulls and kind of all those variations. So then the helmet's kind of much more limited to, okay, here are the base helmets with a few variations of like lenses and things, and then the vanity slot can be used to add all the cool combinations of crests and skulls and laurels and hoods and, all the other things we come up with. So, yeah, have a think about it. Let me know what you all think. And I think it should help streamline a lot of the kind of options we have at the moment, because it's hopefully I'll be able to show you in a second, but it's quite a lot. And this, I haven't even really got into all the possible variations we can do.
So it'd be like a multi-select on the vanity slot, kind of.
So you'd have your base helmet with no crest, no skull, no laurels, and then the vanity slot would be your different options for skulls and laurels and hoods, etc. Oh my goodness, I think it hasn't crashed. Hey, okay, cool.
Just a question: how much memory is it now? What you now have?
It's around 1 gigabyte.
I would have expected more because how everything is now fit into it.
But so yeah, as you can see, just here we've got actually let's go down to an easy one. So we've got the basic, whatever you call him, tank helmet. Then you got the one with the skull. Then you got the laurels. Then you got the hood. We could have the hood and the skull. We've got the crest and the laurels. The other crest and the laurels. You could have the crest and the laurels and the skull. It quite quickly gets obscene, and then you're having to do it for every single bloody helmet variation. At a certain point, to me, it starts to not make very much sense. But yeah, here are some cool ones. So this is a new variety of helmet that we've got, which is quite fun. And so I'm kind of trying to put together some interesting pieces that the kit bashers can use to make fun variations.
Workshop, I got a question. Are you showing this stuff in game right now? Because I only see the Blender screen right now.
Oh no, okay, whoops, sorry about this. Someone should have said something. Thank you. Let me change my stream.
Sorry about that.
Dave,
No worries.
Dave to the rescue.
Yeah, thank you. Right, I'm going to have to head off fairly shortly as my loving girlfriend has finally arrived. But yeah, so as you can see, these aren't even, anywhere near all the options available for like just the tank helmet, and it's already getting to 6 of them. Once you take into account, we've got the red Deathwatch hood, we've got the the black Chaplain one. I think splitting these up into helmets and then helmet vanities, to me at least, seems like the wise choice. And then for the backpack slots, we can create, a backpack with each of the cloak options and the top options and things. And okay, it means there's a few more backpack options. great, as right now the backpack's fairly limited in your choices anyway. It's really just what purity seals and logo do you want on them. And it'll open us up to do things. Other stuff as well is, as you can see, we've got different heads available on the different classes, which are all working nicely. So we can do things like, open up this with the different characters' heads available in these masks and stuff, which are quite fun. I think this is one of my favorite new ones. Got a few different options for the chaplain. See, he's looking quite fancy. You need to edit his lenses to make them customizable. I need to update this to make it a DLC.
And this is no rush for this question, but how soon would this version be available to supporters?
This one probably in the next day or two. I'd say by the end of the weekend.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so lots of cool options there. And don't know, particularly exciting things. Because yeah, right now, because these are vanity, they end up on the back of here. So yeah, I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is shoving most of these things onto the backpacks as different options, and then just have you pick from more backpacks. Because right now the choices are a bit boring. The customization is going to be for all classes. So basically, the tactical will be the basis that we then use to do the sniper, the tank, the raider, etc. Bulwark, that can be a separate system where maybe we limit them, or we have it attach it to something where you get both. It could be like a left hand or something, but I don't know. We'll have a think on that one.
Yeah, do you even want to show a sneak peek of some custom stuff you're working on?
Honestly, I don't have that much at the moment because I'm just trying to focus on getting all of these classes kind of merged together and kind of in a position where they're, ready to be handed off and kind of put into other people's hands. The closest I'd done for a little bit was the what do you call it? The Barnick leg, but right now obviously that's having issues. I think it was working, but there was another thing causing the crash. But we will see what we can do to get these things up and running.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I need that
with
leg.
that, oh, go on. Sorry, you need the leg. Yeah, it's
I need that leg.
one piece.
I hope Saber is gonna take some ideas on this over. Like the whole Mark III armor you already now made, took it all over.
Always. Yeah, I've done stuff as well. So like on the Raven Wing helmet, I've removed the crest because in the original model it's all part of the same thing. So I've split it up. So then again, kit bashers, as long as they give it the Dark Angels DLC, they're able to mix and match different pieces onto it because it's quite cool. Yeah, here you go, very split cell looking helmet.
The chest plates. There is already a available version of Mark 7 or something.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
the tanky boy. Right, I'm going to have to leave you all, but thank you very much for joining. Hope I was able to answer some questions, give some insight onto how things are working. And yeah, I will catch you for the next one. But yeah, bear with me. Again, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff to be testing and make sure it's all working nicely. And it's slow progress because the game will just crash and give you no reason why. And you have to kind of work it out by testing every possible variation of item or just delete everything and pray that it works. But once the various bits are up and running, I think we'll have something very special. So yeah, looking forward to getting it into everyone's.
Thanks
Into
for
everyone's
all your work, man.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for
Catch you
all
later.
your work, really.
Yeah, take it easy. Take care of yourself.
You too,
Yeah.
guys. All right. Catch you soon. Bye.
But